Hi there. Today I'm going to be filming you a very gentle stretching sequence. This is perfect for early in the morning if you're feeling really crunchy and tired and tight. It's also a really good introduction to yoga if you're a beginner, if you don't do much stretching and you just want to feel a little bit looser in your body. It's all going to be quite gentle. We're all going to be seated or on all fours. Probably a good idea to have a mat or something a bit soft just to cushion your knees when we're on all fours. And I'm also sitting up on a little blanket here just to lift my hips a little bit for the first sequence where I'm going to be seated cross-legged. So we'll make a start in a cross-legged position, very easy. You might just want to rock your pelvis back and forward a little bit just to see if you can find a position where it feels a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more neutral, not having to do too much work. Think about gently pulling up your spine from that position, opening the shoulders back and down, lifting the head. Just finding a comfortable seated position where you've got lots of expansion through your chest, you can breathe deeply and you feel reasonably comfortable. We'll start with a few little neck rolls, just dropping the right ear towards the right shoulder and then dropping the chin down to the chest and then rolling back so the left ear is at the left shoulder and then going back again, like you're drawing little half moons with your nose. Just this first few, just feeling into how the neck and the shoulders are feeling. Noticing points of tightness or tension. You might want to roll your head back a little bit, or tuck your chin in a little bit more. Not overstretching, just being very gentle with ourselves. And you could start focusing on your breathing while you do this. Maybe inhaling as you lift your head, exhaling as you drop your chin to your chest. If you like, you could start rolling the head all the way around. You absolutely don't need to do this. For some people it's quite uncomfortable, just staying with the half moons. And taking a couple of circles in the other direction if you were doing those full circles. Thinking about keeping your jaw nice and loose as we do this. Teeth slightly parted, not clenching your teeth. And just stopping with your chin down to your chest for a moment, just feeling that nice stretch between the shoulder blades. One big breath here. And then lifting your head back up to neutral. Let's just take a little side bend. So just placing your left hand on the mat beside you just for support. You can lift your right arm nice and straight. Just imagine it pulling yourself up a little bit taller. And then just bending towards that left arm. Maybe turning to look up to the ceiling, or maybe keeping the head forward. Just feeling a nice stretch through the obliques here. Get another nice big breath here. And then keeping your head in the same position, just drop your arm down so it's hovering a little bit off the floor. You'll feel another nice neck stretch here. Taking a big breath. And use that arm to pull yourself back up. Let's just repeat that on the other side. So right hand down for support, left arm nice and straight, pulling towards the ceiling, and then just leaning towards the right hand side. Maybe turning to look up towards the ceiling. Feeling a nice stretch through those left obliques. Keeping your left hip down on the mat. One more stretch here. And then dropping that arm down, letting your head hang. Feel that nice stretch through the neck, through the top of the shoulders. And then coming back up straight. Let's just make sure that the legs are staggered now. So bringing the right leg staggered in front of the left, first of all, so they're kind of parallel. Just bringing your hands to your knees. We're just going to start doing some very gentle hip circles. So using your hands on your knees for a bit of purchase, you can pull yourself forward a little bit, arching through the spine, and then moving around in a circle, curving the spine back, starting to move through the whole of the upper body, the spine, the shoulders, but really focusing on this sense that we're moving the hips in a circle, tilting the pelvis round, back, round and forward. We're just starting to bring in some movement to the hips, feeling into the spine. You could make them a bit bigger, you could go a bit faster, or you could stay very slow and gentle. Maybe inhaling as you move forward, exhaling as you roll back. And next time you come forward, let's just straighten the spine and then just walk the hands forward so that you're bending over this front leg. You really don't have to go very far to feel a stretch through the glutes here, especially if you're quite tight. We'll just hold this stretch for a moment, keeping your hips down on the mat, on the blanket, stretching into the glute. You can perhaps come a little bit lower as you relax into the pose. Keeping your breath smooth and even. And on your next exhale, just using your hands to walk yourself back up again. Coming up straight, let's just bring this right leg out to the side now. And it can be quite straight in front of you, or it could be open a little bit more. Just see what feels right for your hips. Bring the left foot in towards your inner thigh. Again, let's just nice straight spine here. Lifting the left arm up nice and straight. And again, just come into a little side bend here. Don't have to go very far. Again, you can turn to look up towards the left maybe. One big breath. And on your next exhale, just pivot, turn towards this extended leg. Coming up onto your fingertips. So your hips are pointing towards that foot. Take a breath just to straighten the spine. And on the exhale, maybe walking the hands forward a little bit, just to the point where you're stretching forward towards that foot. Foot is flexed. You're feeling a nice stretch along the whole of the back of the hamstrings. Maybe keeping a little bit of a bend in that knee, just to not overstretch it. Keeping the spine straight. So we're really focusing on stretching the leg here. Again, coming back to nice, smooth, even breaths. Taking one more breath. And on the exhale, pressing your hands into the floor to walk yourself back up till your spine is straight. You just bring your hands behind you, bring your feet to the floor, just rock your hips from side to side, loosen out your lower back a little bit. And then we'll come back into that staggered position, this time with the left leg in front of the right. Just adjust your position. Bringing the spine up nice and straight, and we'll start with those hip circles again, maybe going the other way this time. So starting to just pivot through the spine, rolling the hips, using your hands and your knees, noticing if maybe it feels a little bit different with this leg in front. Some asymmetry is completely normal. Seeing if you can come back to your breathing here. Inhale as you come forward. Exhale as you stretch towards the back. And next time you come forward, let's just straighten the spine, walking the hands forward, keeping the hips planted on the mat. And again, we're focusing here on a nice stretch through the glutes. Again, you might stay up quite high on this side. You might want to come down a little bit lower. Just taking slow, deep breaths. Relaxing your shoulders away from your ears, keeping the spine nice and straight. And again, you might have a very different experience on one side to the other. Completely normal, nothing to worry about. You take one more breath here. back in to support yourself. Bringing that left leg out to the side now. Bringing the right foot in towards the inside of that thigh. And again, might be quite open, might be straighter in, might be quite different from the left side, the right side. Just keeping that foot nice and flexed. Bringing your spine up straight, lifting up that right arm towards the ceiling. Let your left arm drift down that leg as you come down into a little side bend first of all. Maybe looking up towards the ceiling. You really don't have to go very far to feel this stretch. Big breath in, and on the exhale, turning, pivoting towards that leg, bringing the fingertips down. Take an inhale to straighten the spine, and on the exhale, just walk those hands forward a little bit till you feel a nice long stretch through that leg. Keeping the spine straight, shoulders relaxed, little bend in the knee. 3 nice deep breaths here. And on an exhale, using your hands to walk yourself back up. Bring your hands behind you again. Again, just dropping the hips, the knees from side to side. Little windscreen wiper action. And now we're just going to come up onto all fours. So you might want to move that blanket out of the way. You could use it to pad your knees potentially. Just see how you feel on the mat. So coming into all fours, we want our hands underneath our shoulders, knees underneath our hips. And to start with, just tuck your toes under and just bring your hips back to rest on those heels. Stretching your arms forward onto the mat so you feel a nice long stretch. You can bring your forehead down onto the mat into this active child's pose. So we're stretching all the way here from the base of the spine all the way to the tops of the fingertips, and a little stretch through the feet as well. Let's take a couple of nice deep breaths here. And then lifting your head, walk your hands back in first of all, and then shift your weight forward so you're back up into all fours. You can tap your feet a little bit on top of the mat if that was a little bit of a stretch for you. Let's start now with some gentle side bends again. So just staying in all fours, just turn to look towards your right foot on the mat. You'll feel a nice stretch on the left hand side. Shifting back to centre, turning to look back over your left shoulder towards your left foot. Let's just do that twice more on each side. Finding your breathing as you do this. Maybe inhale as you look back and exhale as you come forward. And then coming back to centre. Find a nice solid stance. We're going to lift up that right knee, lifting the foot towards the ceiling, and then turning the knee out towards the side, bringing it forward, underneath, back up. So we're drawing big circles with the knee, rotating through the hip. Just do that twice more. And then the next time the foot is up towards the ceiling, let's just bring it forward, out, back, and forward again. So just reversing those big circles. Just feeling into the hip, doesn't have to look a certain way. And next time your knee comes into your chest, just curve the spine a little bit, bringing the knee and the nose together. And then stretch that foot back behind you, really pressing into the calf now. So tucking those toes under, pressing into the ankle, pressing into the calf. Take a big breath. And then just bring that left arm forward, fingertips towards the top of the mat. Maybe bring the forehead down a little bit, nice long stretch all the way through the body. Walking that hand back in and walking that right leg back in. Let's just take some arm circles on the right now. So balancing again, finding your balance. This time we're going to lift our right arm forward, up, round, and forward. A couple more times. Just keeping the neck really relaxed. And next time you come forward, let's bring it back, up and round. Just focusing on that shoulder joint. And next time you bring it forward, find your position again. And then we're just going to raise that arm up towards the ceiling. And we're going to dive it under our body, turning to look to the left. Lifting it up towards the ceiling, opening up. Twisting and looking to the left. Once more. Up towards the right. Twisting under. Coming back onto all fours. Tuck the toes again here. We're going to take the outside blade of the right hand, stretching up towards that far right corner of the yoga mat, and then gradually bringing your hips back towards your heels. Bring your forehead down to the mat and you'll feel a really nice, strong stretch through that extended arm, through the shoulder. Take a couple of deep breaths here. And then relax the hand on the mat, walk it back in, bring yourself back up to all fours. Let's just come back on our hips for a moment, just to give your shoulders a break. Just take a little pause, catch your breath, and notice maybe how your right side is feeling compared to your left side. And then coming back forward, onto all fours, find your position again. We're just going to repeat that sequence on the left-hand side. So to begin with, we're going to lift that left foot up towards the ceiling, out to the side, forward and under. Bring the knee round in big circles. Just lubricating through the hip joint. Taking one more. Lifting the foot up towards the ceiling and then just bring it forward, out, round and back again. A few more big hip circles going in the other direction. You might notice some cracking or popping. That's absolutely fine, just so long as there's no pain. Bringing the knee in towards the nose, curving through the spine, stretching up, and then stretching that foot behind you, tucking the toes under, pressing back into the calf, into the ankle. A couple of nice big breaths here. You want to extend the stretch and just walking those right fingertips forward towards the end of the mat. Bring your head down a little bit, getting a really long stretch through the whole body. And then walking that hand back in and walking that knee back in. Find your stance again. We'll start with the left hand, coming forward, up, round and forward. A couple more times, just rotating through the shoulders. Bringing it forward and then going in the opposite direction. Keeping your breath going nice and smoothly again. Next time it's forward, just find that stance again, looking down, and then open up, and twist under, looking to the right this time. Opening up, and twisting under. One more time, opening up, and twisting underneath. Open it up again. And then coming forward, bringing the outside blade of that left hand up towards the far corner of the mat. Tucking the toes, bringing your hips back. Bringing the nice stretch through that extended arm, the shoulder, the underarm. Few deep breaths here. One more breath. And then relax that arm, bring it in. Use your arms to bring yourself back up into all fours. And this time we're going to go into child's pose. So bringing the feet flat on the mat, big toes together. You can widen your knees as wide as is comfortable for you. They might be as wide as the mat, they might be a little bit narrower. Pressing back so that your hips reach your heels or somewhere near your heels, they don't need to touch. Walking your hands out into a nice stretch to bring your forehead down onto the mat. Or if that's not very comfortable, you could just make a little pillow of your hands and rest your forehead on your hands. Just focusing on relaxing your hips here and taking 5 nice, slow, deep breaths, deep into the low back. Just notice your heart rate slowing, your breath starting to settle. I'm going to press into the mat to bring yourself back up. Take your time, there's no rush. Calming over your hips, coming back into that seated position where we started. And let's just finish by taking a little body scan. Just noticing how your body is feeling now. If it's a little bit easier, if it feels a little bit more stretched and relieved. If your breath is feeling a bit deeper. You could bring one hand to the heart, one hand to the abdomen. Feel the rise and fall of your breath underneath your hands. Maybe set a little intention for the day. Perhaps just to move more mindfully. To notice your breath. To take opportunities for a little bit of self-care during the day. Thank you for practicing with me today. I hope you found it helpful. Please remember to like and subscribe if you have found this video helpful. I'll see you soon.